Some breaking news over the weekend that I think flew past a lot of people's heads. Um, for me, it's breaking news because it has to do with more people who look like me, but I digress. But, anyways, over the weekend, Donald Trump held a press conference, rally, engagement, endorsement sort of event with the mayor of a small Detroit city called Hamtramck, Michigan. Your first thought, if you haven't heard of this, like, why would Trump do something like this? It's a small city. It just so happens that that city is the only Muslim majority city in all of America, in which the Democrat mayor, who is a Muslim, gave his full endorsement to Donald Trump. Just for a backdrop of Hamtramck and the Dearborn area, during the boom of the Detroit auto industry, a lot of Iraqi, Yemenis, Lebanese, these Middle Eastern Muslims moved to the Detroit area in search of opportunity. There's a lot of civil war going on and things like that. And what ended up happening was they built their own boroughs, they built their own neighborhoods, ethnic enclaves, and now you have Hamtramck and Dearborn, Michigan, which are notoriously, not notorious because well, I guess it depends on who you ask, but which are famously Muslim majority cities, in which the largest mosque in North America, I believe, is located in Dearborn, Michigan. Crazy to think about that. Another news that the only news I can dig up from Hamtramck was last year. Their city council actually passed a statute that banned the flying of the LGBTQ pride flag in public areas, in federal, or not federal, state office areas, public office areas. You could still hang up your LGBT flag, in your house or your private property, but on public property, it was a no-show. So, you know, but, I always knew, they were very socially conservative. Um, you know, Obviously sticking to the hallmarks of Islam and, what the Quran teaches. They're all very religious people. But I didn't think a Donald Trump endorsement was likely anytime soon. I made a video a couple weeks ago about how Muslims will decide the election, possibly, in the swaying of Donald Trump, and that's only because I thought they, could have a spoiler effect, a lot of them not voting, or a lot of them voting for Jill Stein, who's the only pro-Palestinian third-party candidate who's on pretty much all ballots. But this took me as a shock. Why would a mostly pro-Palestinian, pro-Muslim Muslim community support Donald Trump? I mean, Donald Trump has, like, eccentrically tried to appeal to the Jewish voters, like, oh, I'm more pro-Israel, I care more Israel. I mean, he literally, during his presidency, moved the embassy of Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So, what the heck is going on here? And I think for a lot of people, a lot of Muslims especially, I feel as though they think, Donald Trump maybe be more qualified militarily. Donald Trump, one of his favorite rhetorical pieces, that he has no new wars, he stopped ISIS in quote unquote 2 months, and he defeated ISIS with great pride, and it was such a great American thing, just speaking in the rhetoric of Trump. So you had no new wars under Trump, and I feel as though people are sick and tired of this Israel-Palestine war, no matter which side of the coin you fall on. But to outright support Trump as a Muslim is something that, I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with that. You can support who you want to support, but I just took it aback because, and a lot of them could, also attack it from the idea of inflation. They liked the Trump economy better. They liked, how he controlled the gas prices. I'm not saying whether or not do I think Donald Trump actually did control the gas prices, or he controlled the economy better. I'm just saying from the minds. I'm just speaking from the mindset of these voters. So they believe Trump had a better handle on the economy. They liked it under Trump, and obviously Trump is conservative socially. He doesn't, want intermixing of transgender athletes and playing in sports that they were not biologically assigned at birth and whatnot. So I could see an element of social conservatism playing at hand as well. And then on top of that, my buddy brought up a good point that Kamala Harris, her mother is Hindu, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I'm Hindu as well, but you know, for anybody who hasn't been living under a rock, the divide between Hindus and Muslims is it runs very deep for sure. So, you know, there is no empirical evidence to my knowledge that Muslims don't like Kamala Harris because she's Hindu. However, I'm willing to make that assumption that her being Hindu does not help her case with Muslims. So, but yeah, I'm still kind of taken aback at this news that the Hamtramck mayor would outright support Donald Trump. It's very interesting to see. And what I'm also interested is how will this play at the ballot? Will more people vote for Donald Trump? Will people run the Trump train or not? But looking at the bigger picture here, um, you know, the the wide variety of people voting for Donald Trump in this election is very, very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen, a lot of Indians, Hindu Indians, as well as, Muslims, as well as some Jews, and, just this intermixing of just all these different people voting for Trump. It's very interesting to see, because it's not like Trump appeals to everybody. His policies definitely don't. Um, but it's weird how, is it his charisma or is it his, innate ability to pander? Um, One could argue that. I think it's definitely, the idea of populism. One thing that you could definitely unite a lot of Americans, no matter what caste or creed or race they have, is like it's us versus them. It's us, the common folk, versus the big boys, the elite, the swamp, the globalists, as Alex Jones loves to say. So maybe a lot of people resonate with that, but yeah, no, this is interesting. And if miraculously you are a Muslim in the Dearborn or Hamtramck or Detroit metropolitan area, I would love to know your thoughts on this. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.